Happy Sabbath, everyone! My sermon is found in Exodus chapters 3 and 4, verses 1 to 17. What do you have in your hand? God miraculously appeared to Moses through a burning bush that was not consumed by fire. There, he heard the voice of God. The Lord asked Moses to go to Egypt and free his people from slavery. It was a great responsibility, and Moses felt fear. He thought he would not be able to accomplish this task, and people would mock him for presenting himself as God's messenger. So God gave him a series of instructions on how to go and present himself to Pharaoh. Then Moses presented his first excuse. Who am I to go before Pharaoh? Although Moses was raised in Pharaoh's palace, he had lived as a shepherd for 40 years and felt inferior and unable to speak to Pharaoh. Moses' second excuse was, what if they ask me who sent me? What if they don't recognize who God is? Moses was afraid that they would not believe him or mock him or God. The people of Israel had lived in Egypt for 400 years, and many of them had already adapted to the Egyptian custom of worshiping false gods. The third excuse was, what if they don't believe me or listen to me? Before accepting God's call, Moses was afraid of failing his mission. He did not understand that God would do extraordinary things to him. But God responded with a question. What do you have in your hand? Moses replied, a staff. But with that staff, God can do extraordinary things through Moses. The fourth excuse Moses said was, I am not eloquent, and I am slow of speech. The fact that Moses had not spoken the language of the Egyptians for those past 40 years he had lived in Midian made him doubt whether he can properly express himself before Pharaoh. Despite many demonstrations of God's power, Moses continued to doubt his ability to fulfill his mission entrusted to him. Finally, in Exodus chapter 4, verse 13, Moses said, "Oh my Lord, please send someone else." This was not directly an excuse, but Moses was demonstrating distrust, and it saddened God. Nevertheless, despite that, God made Moses understand that he was the chosen person for this mission, and that he would not go alone. God himself would go with him throughout the journey to ensure his victory. What is the application of this in our daily lives? Moses presented several excuses for not going to Egypt. How many excuses have you presented for not doing what God asked you to do? Your excuses might be, I don't have time. I am embarrassed. What if they don't believe me because I'm a child? And I don't have skill. But those excuses have a solution if you put your life in God's hands and allow him to use you to bless others. Now let's think about Moses. What did he have in his hand? A simple rod. And what did God tell him? But take the staff and perform signs with it. Jesus is inviting us. Just as Moses, with whatever you have in your hand, no matter how simple it may seem, God can do extraordinary things. You just need to surrender your life to him and share his love with people around us. If you feel fear or embarrassment, just pray to God and ask him for courage, and you can be his messenger of the world. Amen.